Hey, welcome to Tabletop Skirmish Games. I'm Lee, and in this video we're going to look at some Warcry news, and that's not something we get to say that often, but this time it's the Tome of Champions 2021. So this is great news. I didn't think we were going to get the Tome of Champions 2021. I thought maybe they've done with Warcry. We got the Red Harvest box set and then didn't hear anything after that. And the previous year we got loads of products after Catacombs. So yeah, maybe this is the start of things to come. So let's hope so. But we get the Tome of Champions 2021. And although it's now February 2022, I'm just happy that we are going to get it. I'm also really happy with the direction they're going in with this Tome of Champions, as they're including Warhammer Underworlds fighters now in Warcry, and the book is going to contain the Warcry fighter cards for those Underworlds warbands. And this is something I've always thought is a great addition to Warcry, and I've made cards for most of these for my Patreon community over the past few months. So yeah, I'm really into the Underworld sets. I think they're great models and perfect for Warcry to add some special characters and just some different looking fighters. And although I've been proxying them and I've made some unique cards for them, I'm really interested to see what the official Warcry cards are going to be. These Underworld fighters are going to be called Blade-Born Fighters, and we're going to get an extra 32 warbands worth of choices, it tells us in the article. And so you can field a full Underworld's warband, or you can pick and choose fighters from the warbands and add them to your existing Warcry warbands. So this is brilliant. I'm really happy with this. So although they're Blade-Born fighters and they'll get the Blade-Born rune mark, they're also going to have a faction rune mark that relates to the existing factions. And the example they give in the article is that Kagra's Ravagers and the Godsworn Hunt will both have the Slaves to Darkness faction rune mark. So that's really great to add those models to the faction. There are some rules though, and maybe some restrictions as well. You can only include each of the fighters once in your warband, and that makes sense. These are special characters. But you don't have to have all the warband made up of the Blade-Born fighters. And you've even got the choice to take a Blade-Born leader as your ally. So this is really great. Having so many fighters now to add to your different warbands, I think is going to be really fun. These Underworlds models are so cool. And so yeah, I really like the direction this is going in. I do wonder though if this is a way of kind of them not releasing any new models for Warcry, so just making use of the existing ones, pretty much like they did when they brought out the Sentinels of Order Ages of Chaos, the Destruction and Death books as well, so tapping into the Age of Sigmar models. They seem to be doing the same for Underworlds. So yeah, be a shame if we don't get any more Warcry specific warband sets. Right, so let's have a look at narrative play now and how that's going to affect the Blade-Born fighters. And it says that in narrative play, you can add the Blade-Born fighters to your warband roster if they belong to the same faction as your warband. You can add the same type more than once to your roster. That makes sense. Again, they're unique characters. You can also pick a Blade-Born fighter with a leader rune mark to be your leader just as normal. And in addition, during the Aftermath sequence, there are 3 rules that will apply. So the first is do not make injury rolls for Blade-Born fighters. Number 2, do not make destiny rolls for Blade-Born fighters. Blade-Born fighters cannot gain destiny levels. And number 3, Blade-Born fighters cannot bear artifacts of power, but can be given command traits. So that's something. I don't know why they've done that to it, because if they're regular fighters that you can include in there, I don't see why they would build that into the rules. But let's keep reading on, and maybe it'll tell us. Right, so we've got a fighter card here, and one that they had to include is Doonclaw. So this is going to be 130 points, movement 4, toughness 6, really tough, and looking at 12 wounds there. Looks like we've got the rune mark for the faction, for the Idoneth Deepkin, and then one other rune mark, so there's going to be ability linked to it. And then this is the weapon is going to be those claws, so it's a range of 1, 2 attacks, strength 5, and he's going to deal 2 to 5 on a crit. So this guy's strong, tough, puts out the damage, but he can only make 2 attacks, 1 for each claw, I guess. So this is really cool, but let's have a look at what the ability is going to be for him, and I'll just check the book and see if it's in there. So that's the Beast rune mark that he comes with, and there's nothing that relates to it in the Idoneth Deepkin fighter abilities, so really this is just going to give him a little bit of a restriction, and because he's got that Beast rune mark, it means that he cannot move through any doors, so he's just going to have a restriction, no extra abilities, but he will be able to use the abilities that come with all the fighters with the Idoneth Deepkin rune mark. So that means he's going to get the double low tide, and this isn't the best ability. It's probably one of the worst ones in all of Warcry, I think. But basically the fighter can use this ability only if it's the first battle round, and this fighter can make a bonus move action a number of inches equal to the value of this ability. So this is a big restriction. You know, you're only going to be able to use this on a couple of models, potentially maybe 3 if you're lucky in that first round. Yeah, and again, it's all down to how high the value of the double is as well. So as abilities go, this isn't one of the best ones. But still, looking at the stats here, I think for 130 points, you are getting a decent amount here. And yeah, a really fun model to include in the warband for sure. I can't wait to check and see what stats I gave him and see how close I got to this one. We're also getting a little sneak peek at Prince Duval from the Crimson Court, and he's going to be in the Soulblight Gravelord. So he's got the rune mark for that faction. So he's got that Bladeborn rune mark, and I'd be really interested to see what he gets for that, if there's any extra abilities. But he's got the Leader rune mark and the Screaming Skull rune mark, so they're going to apply to the Soulblight Gravelord's abilities already, so we'll check out those in a minute. But his stats look pretty good. 205 points, movement 5, toughness 4, a huge 26 wounds, and then I really like the weapon characteristics. This is really nice. You've got a range of 1, 4 attacks, strength 4, and he's going to deal 2 to 6 damage, so that's really cool. I like that. Don't see 2 to 6 very often, and so that's really great. So I like him for the points. I think it's well worth it, but let's check out the abilities and see what he can use. So first of all, let's look at the Leader ability, and it's a triple called Call the Crimson Feast, and until the end of the battle round, you can add 1 to the attack characteristics of attack actions that have a range characteristic of 3 or less made by visible friendly fighters while they are within 6 inches of this fighter. So this is great for those zombies and skeletons, really to ramp up their damage they can do through their attacks. So really great to add those extra attacks, and so you want to get him in amongst a good number of fighters to make the most of that. You can also use the regular fighter ability, which is another triple called Thirst for Blood, and a fighter can use this ability only if an enemy fighter has been taken down by an attack action made by this fighter, this activation, and you can remove a number of damage points allocated to this fighter up to double the value of this ability. Now this is great because he's certainly going to take out some enemy fighters, and with 26 wounds already, having this ability to add double the value of the ability to those wounds to recoup them as he sucks the blood from his enemies, I think is fantastic. So this is a really interesting character, great stats, a good amount of points, and yeah, I really like this, and I can't wait to see what that extra rune mark for the Bladeborn rune mark is going to bring to the game. So that's all the details it's gone into, and it tells us that it's up for pre-order really soon. So I can't wait to find out the exact date, and I'll certainly be getting it straight away. And the other things it does say in the article, just briefly at the end, is that it's absolutely packed with even more cool new rules, quests, and juicy narrative content. So I really can't wait to see what these new rules are going to be. And so as soon as I find out the date, I'll obviously make a video, and any more details we get before that date as well, I'll make some videos for that too. So great news, always cool to see some new Warcry products coming out, and I'm really happy that they're continuing with the Tome of Champions, and now we're going to get the 2021 issue. I'd love to hear what you think about this. Are you happy that they're bringing Underworlds into the game? And do you play them already? Do you use those miniatures, and have you been proxying from other models? So I'd love to hear your thoughts and feedback in the comments section below. But for now, thanks so much for watching. Please like if you like it, subscribe for more videos like this, and don't forget to hit the notification bell to join me next time on Tabletop Skirmish Games. I'd like to say a huge thank you to my Patreon supporters who make these daily videos possible, and if you're interested in joining the community, it'd be awesome to see you there, and I'll put a link for that in the description down below.